Welcome to today's edition of Mental Health Matters. Today I have Morgan and Hannah, two teenagers on the show today. They're going to share their experience with mental health. We're going to talk a little bit about depression, a little bit about anxiety, OCD. So we got a good show ahead for you guys, so stay tuned. All right, Morgan and Hannah, thank you guys so much for being a guest on the show. I know as teenagers, you guys can be asleep on a Saturday, because I know I probably would. For sure I would be asleep.
Yeah.
So, so thank you for joining me today. So why don't we start off by you guys individually, just kind of introducing yourself and just kind of sharing a little bit about your background, and we'll go from there.
All right. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My name is Morgan. I'm 16.
It's going to be 17 in 6 days.
Yes, my birthday isn't very soon.
Yes.
I've been friends with Hannah since I was a freshman, and I'm now a senior in high school.
Oh, nice.
And she's graduated now.
Yeah.
But this is my intro part. I'm very close with my family and friends, and I get depression and anxiety from both sides of my family.
Okay.
I'm Hannah, and I'm 17. I will be 18 in October, so I still have a bit to go.
Nice.
I did graduate high school. I'm going to be going to college soon.
Nice.
And I have anxiety and depression, and I think it comes from I was adopted.
Okay.
So I'm not sure about my mental health, the history of mental health in my biological family, but I was told that they do have anxiety and depression, so I think that's where it comes from. I also have ADD and OCD stemming from anxiety and depression.
Okay. How did you guys meet?
We're both in drama club.
Yeah, okay, we were, yeah.
We're both part of crew. I paint sets and I make costumes.
I help move stuff on and off scenes and stuff, yeah.
I love how you guys just boom, 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 pop off each other.
Yeah, I think that's why we're friends.
Nice. So you guys can just answer just as I ask questions. There's no certain format.
All right.
How old were you guys when you started to experience any form of depression and anxiety?
I was, in the 4th grade, so I'm not sure how old I was, but I know in 4th grade I got really bad anxiety and depression. I wouldn't want to leave my room. I didn't eat anything. I had to start taking vitamin supplements because I barely ate anything at all.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a really bad time for me, and so I was when I was in 4th grade, so it kind of happened early on in life.
Okay.
I experienced some form of anxiety ever since I was a kid, but I really noticed it around 6th grade when I was 10 or 11. But then the depression came a little later when I started high school.
Okay. Have you guys noticed any other friends outside of you guys or in your surroundings that kind of may deal with the same thing that you guys go through?
Yeah, we were joking earlier. We're in drama club.
Yeah. No, I definitely have experience. I know one of the main people in my life is my boyfriend, who has the same kind of problems that I do, so we both kind of balance each other out and help each other out, which is really good. And of course my good friends and
nice.
You and me and and then another friend that we have, that's my main group that I know experience this stuff.
Yeah, I do want to tell you guys, I don't know if you guys even realize this, but a lot of people, especially the youth that's going to watch this program, you guys are going to be like heroes in their eyesight, because as a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you how powerful this is going to be. On our YouTube page, all the shows, well, the only show that has the most hits are the ones that we do on the youth.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's important, like, because of peer pressure, the stigma, bullying, a lot of things. You know, sometimes these youth, they don't want to come forth and really share what's really going on with them. And it's about them, but it's not about them at the same time, because you want to, kind of, if you're comfortable and okay, share your story to help other people.
We have a good friend, and she experiences almost all the same things that we do, but her parents just don't believe her, and so she hasn't been able to get any help at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
And see, that's why having, being friends with you guys, it can help her.
Definitely, I think it does help.
Yeah, yeah. And I would definitely, I'm going to try to stay connected with you guys through Lisa. Okay. Because we're going to probably be doing more shows surrounded by stuff like this, just to get the word out, to target the youth, and even have you guys be able to speak to the parents and let the parents know how important it is to listen to their youth when they're telling them, okay, I got these issues going on, this is happening, mom and dad, I need help. Because a lot of times the parents don't respond because they don't understand, or they're not as, educated, or some is in denial like my mom was. So a lot of times that happened, but I'm going to give you guys kudos for just being a champion and really, kind of exposing this, and just so that people can really get help and come out of the shadows, so to speak. So thank you.
Yeah.
So how has, since you guys discovered that, you kind of, I try to word this the right way, but since you kind of, well, first I want to ask, have you guys been clinically diagnosed?
Yes.
Okay. So since you guys have been diagnosed with depression and anxiety, how has it changed your life? But I want to, in a good way, should I say? Or how has it changed your life?
Well, definitely a bunch of good ways. Like, I've met so many friends who can relate to me and that understand, and I've helped people who need help in the best way I can with just sharing about what I've been through, because it does really impact a lot of people to know that they're not alone, because they aren't alone. A lot of us experience it, and they have friends who can help them.
I guess for me, it changed the way that I made friends and the way that I talked with my family, because I had no idea how common it was in my family until I finally talked to them about it.
Yes. At least I'm excited over here, because I really am excited. You should just see my face over here, like, yes, we're getting the word out. But and I like how you guys have taken this and spinning this in a positive way. Because some people are not at a place of growth where they can take these situations and use it to their advantage, because that's really what you guys are doing. Doing this type of stuff, it stops people from committing suicide. It stops people from having bad relationships. I mean, a lot of this type of work, it really impacts people in not just for the now, but in the future as well. So once again, kudos. Okay, so tell me, what happens when you're depressed, or if you're going through a form of depression? Tell me, what does it look like for you, for you guys as an individual?
I don't like to get out of my room. I literally just stay in my bed all day, and I cry a lot, which is, I think, a thing that usually happens, but I don't really like eating that much, or I eat too much. It's really bad, and I lash out at family and friends because I just want to be left alone, which is pretty bad, and I don't take care of myself at all.
My friends will notice usually like immediately, because whenever I'm feeling good, I like to take care of myself and like put makeup on and dress cute, and so they know, oh, she's wearing a t-shirt and sweats, she's not feeling good.
We know.
Sophomore year. And for me, with the crying thing, it's either I cry way too easily, or it's like impossible for me to cry. And the energy just is gone. There's no energy. You just can't like handle functioning. Like even going to school and just sitting there and writing seems like an impossible task when all you want to think about is going home and going to sleep.
Yeah. Now, because you guys are really good friends, if one of you are going through depression and the other one is not, are you guys able to identify that in one another and kind of help the person kind of
definitely.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll go over to her house. If she's not doing good, we'll go over and we'll like binge watch a TV show
That's
together.
awesome. That's me. Yeah. I would binge watch a show in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and she comes over and makes me go outside.
I'm like, surprise, I know you're taking a nap, but let's go get lunch.
Yeah.
That's good. You know, it's interesting. I have I have a friend. I'm just going to be very transparent. Actually, yesterday, last night, he called me because he was driving and he just started being very depressed. He pulled over at a car wash and called me. Now, and I'm going to give you a little backstory about this. When I first met him, for some reason I didn't capture this because he always used the terminology he used. He said, "I'm battling a down feeling." Now, keep in mind, this is my best friend maybe after like 4 or 5 years at the time. And it never occurred to me that he was battling depression. Now, with him, he wasn't diagnosed clinically because he's from another culture. I'm put it like that. So in their cultures, there's the stigmas and all that. But so I'm just giving you a little back hits. But last night he called me and pulled over in the car wash, and he said, and he was crying. He's having a panic attack, and so I'm like, I'll catch a Uber Lyft where you are because it wasn't too far where I live. And I heard people ask, say, "Are you okay?" So I'm like, okay, I need to get there. So I drove my car there. I parked my car, got in his vehicle, and I drove him to my house. And meanwhile, he was bawling, crying, and just, and I'm like, okay. So I really, honestly, I started to self-talk myself because I saw what state he was in. So, before I went to my house, I went and got something to eat. So when he got something to eat, we went home, and so he was still crying and just kind of, having anxiety. So I'm like, okay, I really had to talk him down. He said, I don't want to, I'm driving, I feel like I'm going to hurt somebody, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, you're fine. I'm just like, you're here now, so don't worry about it. People are safe. And so I ended up having to, he went upstairs to my bedroom and I'm like, just get you some sleep. I set the food on the nightstand, got him something to drink, some paper towels and all that stuff. And he slept for a while, and I was just downstairs, and so I went upstairs, I think like 4 or 5 hours. I checked in on him, came back, and then the second time I went upstairs, I woke him up, and he was in a much better place. He just needed that, at that time, that support and somebody who could understand what he was going through, So, and once again, I think that's important. What does it look like when you guys are experiencing anxiety?
Anxiety attacks a lot. I have one of the main things that gives me anxiety attacks is I have a fear of vomit, and I've had it since I was a little kid. So like that's where I get most of my anxiety attacks from. But I also get anxiety just in general, but usually when I'm anxious, I'll have an anxiety attack, and I feel like I can't be away from my mom. If I'm away from my mom for 5 minutes, I get worse, and I need to touch someone because I feel like I'm in a dream. I start to feel like really out of my dissociated. And just I need to touch people and make sure I know I'm there, which is really bad because then I feel like I'm a nuisance to people because I'm freaking out, but I know I just need help.
Well, people who understand you as a person or understand anxiety. Yeah,
definitely.
You're not a nuisance.
No, I know. I have to remind myself that. And I do. And I'm like, okay, well, they know I need help. Because if I don't get help, then they're going to be more worried. So, I usually reach out to people to ask for help calming down.
I tell her stuff like that all the time. I tend to take on more of a motherly kind of figure. I'm the mom friend. And so I'm always telling her, it's okay. I'm here to comfort you. It's okay. You're not a nuisance. I love you. It's okay.
That's good.
Yeah, definitely.
When I first started learning about mental health, I actually learned more. I feel like I got more exposed when I started working here. And it's interesting because, and this is just me, because I try to think outside the box of some things. Because of the stigma and because people are not really being true to themselves as far as, you know, if you got something going on, but I understand why. It's a process for every person. But I like to tell people this. If you have a parent and your parent, one of your siblings is missing or they can't find them, what do you think is one of the first things going to happen? They're going to panic. Oh my God! And you know, can you do? You know, and you know, so it's normal for us to go through these things because it's part of life. You know, if people get a divorce or if someone loses a break up with a boyfriend, whatever, it's normal to be depressed about it. These are normal feelings. But people who are uneducated, I feel, just my opinion, about mental health and things, they try to make it seem it's worse than it, but it's not. It's normal. And I had to tell my brother that I got a younger brother that, you know, was diagnosed, but it's normal. So, and I just try to say that to encourage you guys to keep speaking about it, keep speaking your truth, and keep helping other people and stuff.
Yeah, that reminds me, especially the story about your friend, it reminds me of my grandmother. She experiences depression, and she has friends at church that she's become best friends with, and she's known them for 10 years, and just recently, maybe only a year ago, she told them that she experiences depression, and she's known these people for 10 years.
Yeah, wow. Do you guys think that, do you find yourself being more comfortable or in a comfortable environment when you're around people, your peers, people that understand your diagnoses?
Yeah. Teenagers.
Yeah.
Mostly teenagers. Adults don't understand as much.
They tend to be more judgmental, and they're the people that were around that huge stigma, whereas younger kids understand and they didn't really have that.
Yeah. So for the younger kids or the teenagers that you guys age that don't have a diagnosis or that may be uneducated, do you find it hard to for them to understand and process what's going on with people who may deal with depression or anxiety?
Sometimes it's difficult, but most of the time they will eventually understand.
That's awesome.
It just, it depends on also the parent and what they've been taught.
Yeah, how they've been raised.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So well, let me say this. What do you guys do to like stay well, meaning that to keep yourself motivated, positive, and just stay on the right track as far as, you know, your everyday life and stuff?
Yeah. I rely a lot on my medication. Of course, I started small and I realized, no, this is a really good result. I think I need more of this. It's really helping me.
Yeah.
And I do rely on it a bit, but I also rely a lot on my friends and my family. I love them to death, and they often keep me from getting stuck in that hole.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I also rely on medication, but I also rely on friends and family, and I have my different coping mechanisms I've learned, like writing or like just if I need to, I just write everything out. Like, it doesn't have to be nice. You don't have to be able to read your handwriting. You just can scribble. If you're just upset and you want to write, just write. And that helps me a lot. And a way to communicate.
The friend was just sharing with you guys about his anxiety came later. Depression was first, and then anxiety followed. And he has both, just probably like on the equal scale. And sometimes when he has anxiety, it is, you know, he could literally be driving to work, and he will have an anxiety attack. I mean, I can countless of times I've got up out of my sleep because he works. Sometimes he works, you know, different hours. Middle of the night, 2 in the morning, I literally would get up out of my sleep and go there. Catch an Uber or Lyft. I mean, because it's important to have that support system. It's important to have people that understand what you're going through, and you have to be patient. You know, I try to teach people that's associated, like, you have to be patient with people, because sometimes it's a quick fix and sometimes it's not. You know, and like him, he likes to be around people when he's going through anxiety. He like right there. Don't leave my bedside. And I have done that before. I have been that type of support to him where I've set up. 3, 4, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. Had to go home and get ready for work and be at work at 8:30. But the important thing, I was there for a certain support. But in the process, I learned I have to take care of myself too.
Definitely. That's a big thing. Take care of yourself.
Because I was getting burned out, and then I started feeling guilty, like I wasn't a good friend. And he's even brought it up to me a few times too. And he said, "Well, Jesse, I just kind of feel like you was backing off." And I had to explain to him, "No, I wasn't backing off. I had to take care of myself and I had to get my energy back to come back in to be there for you." And when I said it to him like that, and then he started to understand this stuff.
Yeah.
Why do you guys think that mental health or depression and anxiety, why do you guys think it's misunderstood, just in general? Just from your experience.
From my experience, my primary example, I guess, is that friend that we both share. Her parents are very religious, and when she brings up like, "Oh yeah, I have these issues and I think I need help," they think she's faking. Like, they think like, "Oh no, you're fine. We're not going to do anything about it. Like, you don't need medication. You don't need this. Pray." And it's kind of insane when I think about it. My family is religious, but above all, they would want to take care of me, and they would want to listen, but
I'm not gonna finish.
And I told you this in the car about if your goal is to get information out of your child, they won't trust you. But if your goal is to get your child to trust you, they likely will eventually tell you. I always tell my friends, you don't have to tell me if you're feeling like these things that you feel traumatic about, but I'm always here if you want to talk. And eventually they do usually tell me, whether it's right there or a couple months down the line.
Yeah, the stigma is a big thing. I think it's with older people or generation that doesn't understand, which is like not their fault, because at that time it was just teenagers being dramatic. And they thought, oh, that's just teenagers being dramatic, and not realizing that it is a mental health issue. We have teenagers and people have always experienced mental health. And I think it's just the stigma of like kids are being dramatic these days, and I think that's a big thing. It's just they're not educated about it, and they refuse to find education in it. And some people just don't have the resources, which is a big problem.
Yes, that's exactly right. What both of you guys is said is very interesting, but I want to speak to what you're saying. Remember how I just communicated to y'all that so 5 years into me and my close friend's friendship, he used to always say that he's battling a down feeling, and I didn't really take that as depression. So his family come from a strong Christian background, and I didn't come from a strong Christian background, but I have a strong Christian background. And at that time, when he actually expressed with the word depression, I was actually in denial. I was in denial, but I wasn't working here either, I will tell you that. I was in denial, and I just couldn't understand, like, how? Just like your friend's parents told her, I'm like, pray. I prayed with them and everything, and I did everything that I felt I knew how to do, quote scriptures and different things like that, because that's all I knew. I didn't know, I wasn't exposed to mental health like I am now. And what happened, it was, he lost trust in me. He closed down on me. As a matter of fact, our friendship actually deteriorated. We went through maybe like a year and a half of us not being good friends at all. And that was because of my ignorance. That was because of me. That was because I felt like I knew the right thing for you to do is read the word and pray and blah, 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 blah. But he actually needed me to listen to him.
That's usually, in my experience, many people, they just need an ear. And relating again to Christianity, if you have a friend that is dealing with this and you don't understand, you think, well, what am I supposed to do about this? And in my opinion, the first step should always be to just listen.
Exactly.
Listen and understand, or at least try to understand.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to understand, they'll see that and
Yeah.
they'll appreciate it.
Yeah, and I did neither. Every time he was, because I was in denial, it hurted me to see him crying and just, you know, he wouldn't shower, he wouldn't eat, and it hurted me, but I think it was more about me protecting my feelings than really him, the more I'm thinking about it. You know, and he lost all trust. Communication was cut off, like almost completely. Like he started hanging out with other people. I mean, it was just, you know, but he needed me to listen to him and to support him. And our departure, so to speak, is what caught my attention. That's what caused me to really try to understand what he was going through, because he's like a brother to me.
Yeah.
You know, but when I started to really understand, and I was, you know, was working here and stuff, started working here a little later, that's what really kind of opened my eyes up, because now I know somebody personally that I'm close to that's going through some things and stuff, but it was hard for me. And that's why I try so hard to, outside of work, if I'm talking to somebody who come from a church background and they may have a loved one who may be dealing with some mental health issues, it's important for them to understand another component of that as well. Because like you said, when people trust you, and with their most deepest issues, they will make themselves vulnerable to you eventually, because they trust you and stuff. What do you guys, let me ask you, what would you like to see happen as far in the mental health world? Like what do you like to see happen in the future to reach more teenage or to reach more youth that's dealing with this?
Just educating, like give, and I think the best thing would be also resources are available. Don't force them to do anything. Don't force them to go see therapy. Don't force them to do anything, but let them know that it's there for them at their disposal. Like you're allowed to feel this way, and just I think like classes and programs would be great for us, because I think one of the main issues is that one, either no one listens to them like you said, or two, that they just don't know what's happening and they just think, oh, I'm just being dramatic, which isn't true at all. They're going through something that is hard, and they need to know that they have resources available for them.
That's good. That's good.
I think I agree with what you said, and I think another way to help kids would also be to help the parents, because they're very much influenced by the way that their parents think too. And so if their parents become more accepting, it'll trickle down and they'll realize, okay, I think this is okay. I think I'm allowed to feel like this. And then they'll talk to them about it, because anyways, in my experience, the kids usually know way more than the parents.
Oh, absolutely.
Way more.
All the time when it comes to stuff that's dealing with them. With them.
And so they're just like, oh my gosh, can you listen? I don't understand. Why? I'm trying to tell you how I feel, and I'm telling you like the deepest feelings that I have, and you just somehow don't understand. And so by helping the parents, you would be helping the kids a lot.
So what are ways that, or what are steps that we can take to help the parents, like educate them? I'm just curious, because I'm going to tell you what my opinion would be, but what are some ways that we can help educate the parents to help them understand what their, loved one may be going through?
I say again, it's just resources, programs, education, and like just telling them to listen to their kids no matter what. Like just, it doesn't hurt to listen. It doesn't cost money to listen. Just listen at first and see what you need to do, and don't force them to talk to you, and only step in when you're fearing for their lives.
The good thing about you two, you guys have parents, a loved one that's has an understanding about what you guys go through, so you have that support. So that's like half the battle right now.
It is definitely. We're lucky.
We're lucky.
So if you guys are feeling down or whatever, they can identify that and kind of come to your rescue and support per se. But unfortunately, a lot of teenagers don't. The high school you guys went to, or you went to, or you still go to, do they have programs in you guys' school to help teens?
No. Counselors just say, "Oh, come talk to us," but then they're just like, they give you basic things to encourage you, and they just send you on your way. There's no programs to help you.
See, I think that's very important.
Definitely very important.
I've been thinking about reaching out to some of these schools and talking to them. Let's see if they would be willing to have a volunteer program where people can come and volunteer and make themselves available, like a peer support.
That sounds great. I would do that.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know, because this is something I'm just saying it on air. Maybe we're gonna cut this part out. but no, that's something I've been kind of praying about it, just having to make it, just to do something like that. That is important when you can have a peer and just being often just sitting, just kind of talking to them and stuff, and
finding resources.
Yes, exactly. So that's good to know. Lisa, you have struck gold with me. Thank you for these two young ladies. So anything else you want to add before we end the interview?
I want teens to know that their peers are there for them, and they don't need to feel alone. I know sometimes you do feel like you're alone, and if no one listens to you, find someone else to. You don't need to rely on one person, and that even if you're struggling, people are there for you, and you can find resources if you look hard enough, and they will soon. I think soon resources will be more available the more we progress, because I think luckily the stigma is starting to shift for the better for us.
Yes, exactly.
So I think with more awareness like this, we're going to be okay.
Yes.
And we're going to get the help that we need.
Yes.
And that we don't need to struggle for too much longer.
Yes, absolutely.
I agree.
She's like, look, I don't want to say that different, but I agree with you.
What was I gonna say? I forgot. And I keep looking at this tiny piece of hair that's right there. Anyways, I think that definitely it's changing for the better now, and the important thing is to find someone that can listen to you and that knows how to listen to you. And people that have a network of friends and not just one often have an easier time. So
definitely
learn to make friends that you can trust.
Okay. Well, that is it for our show, and thank you so much. I told you it was going to go quick for being on our show.
It did feel quick.
Definitely,
And that's it for today's edition of Men's Health Matters. If you enjoyed this particular show, if you would like a DVD copy of this show, or if you would like to be a guest on our show, please dial 916-366-4600. Thank you.